ئەو کاتێ من بڕێرمدا وڵاتی خۆم بەجێ بێڵم لە دەرەنجامی نەبوونی ئازادی و لە دەرەنجامی ئەو هەموو کێشە و گیر و گرفتەی کە لەوێ هەبوو بەداخەوە بڕێرمدا سەفەر بکەم بۆ ئەوروپا لە ناو وڵاتانی ئەوروپاش وڵاتی بەریتانیام هەڵبژار کە هاتم بۆ ئێرە خەون و مێدێکی زۆرم هەبوو لەوەی کە بتوانم خوێندن تەواو بکەم بتوانم بم بە شتێک بتوانم پێگەیەکم هەبێ لەو پێگەیەوە ئیتر پێگەی دیراسی بێ هەر شتێک توانم بەرگری لە ژیانی خۆم و بەرگری لە ژیانی خەڵکی تریش بکەم بەرحاڵ زۆر بەداخەوە من نەمزانی تا 10 ساڵی کەشە بێم چاوەڕێی وەرەقەیەک بکەم کە لە هۆم ئۆفیسەوە بێت تا 10 ساڵی کەش منە بێ چاوەڕێی کەری لێ بکەم کە بێ دەرگای و ژوورە بکاتەوە کە 10 ساڵە منی تیادا 10 ساڵ من نەبێ لە ژوورێکا بم کە هۆم ئۆفیس بۆیە بکات.
A guy went through my Facebook and he liked 71 things.
That is love.
I'm Izzy, I'm a BA Geography 4th year student.
I'm Holly, I'm a 4th year criminology student and I'm from Star as well.
I'm Emma, I'm in the 3rd year doing philosophy and I'm also on the Star committee.
So, I'm Hadi Ibrahim for the second time. I'm a film director and speaking from home. I didn't understand what asylum means or seeking refuge because for me it was easy. I was a child and sorry, I was a teenager. I didn't go through that process. He was not allowed to do what I was capable of doing, you know, in terms of going to the university, having a driving license, just simple things like, you know, applying for a bank statement. For me, it is like light sound action. For him, is frustration, wait, frustration. for him it's just like, I'm ready to film, but sometimes he wasn't ready, he may just, instead of opening the door, at the window, oh, Harvey, I thought it is tomorrow. No, we say it is today.
I told you to not talk about it.
I did told him I'm just gonna be honest and say about the process of it. But then I actually thought about it, and I told him I'm not gonna make it 10 minutes. I'm actually go a little bit further if you don't mind. His friends were in that situation, but then they've managed to get the decision. So they managed to get married and to do things in universities and jobs and find business and partners, and for Haider his situation remains the same, and he was still waiting and waiting. I managed to make a good 40 minutes or I think 41 minutes out of it, and it was mainly for me Haider to tell me what he feels daily basis. For example, with a member of a family, sister or brother, they never met. We have highlighted that also in the film. And the other thing is that maybe most of the community think he is not good enough because I managed to, persuade the Home Office and to get the decision. Or the other one says, sure, I didn't wait that much. For me, it was only a couple of months. I got the decision. Maybe you couldn't talk. Maybe you couldn't represent your case very well. Maybe your solicitor is, they managed to give the decision very quickly. Maybe it take a year or a few months. Maybe for some it take a couple of years, but 14 years is just like you've lost your back home, because I think in 14 years is like half of, I don't know. I mean, it's a good proportion of our life. Just spent on waiting and just wait for somebody who we don't know who he looks like and to make a decision. That was the biggest frustration. Finally, he's got the decision. And that same year, he managed to do exactly the same courses that I am doing. He's on his first year doing TV and film design.
I guess one of the reasons why we're all here is because we see the way in which asylum immigration works in this country. We see in so many cases areas that you touched on, the fact that the system is so inherently stacked against those. You see, to make any inroads into the kind of things. We enjoy the freedoms that we as students at university so kind of always consider as kind of relevant issues that you touched upon, just things that we take for granted, things that often aren't available to those who have been victimized of something extreme. The bodies back home, and the FedEx, find that within this country, a place that lives in as a refuge and as a safe haven is one that is doing absolutely at all to reject them, to paint them as rumors, as people who don't belong to society, who don't have the benefits that we value in this country, should offer as a society. And that's obviously something I guess Kate.
Alright guys, thanks all for coming and then abiding by the conditions of the room. It's really great for Javi and Haider both to be here. For those of you who made the talk earlier, it's really interesting to kind of have a panel of us all talking about some of the key backgrounds of asylum and migration rights in the UK at the moment. It's a real pleasure privilege to have Javi and Haider here. Javi Rahim's been in the UK since 2001. He's Kurdish immigrant from Iraq, grew up in Germany as a teenager and then moved to the UK in 2001. He holds his bachelorate from the University of Lincoln, where he studied film and television design, and then went on to his master's at Leeds Met, where he did cinema and film production, which he holds well, was it Distinguished Masters?
Yeah.
Masters in? Yeah.
No, I merit.
Merit Masters, wow, amazing. He has recently tackled issues involving Kurdish rights. He is like a producer, animator, activist, where he's also involved just well beyond migration, focusing on areas such as LGBT rights and sexual and reproductive rights. I guess it's interesting to have both him and Haider here as well, because Haider's only recently, in August this year, had his 15-year wait to get an answer onto his asylum answered. So it's pretty terrific to have someone that's actually been through the system, seen both sides of it, to be able to kind of come and speak about his experience and kind of relay that information onto all of us. There'll be a short Q&A after the film. It's only about 40 minutes long. And hopefully we can get a nice positive discussion in the same variant that we had earlier. Cool. I guess there's not really much else to do. Do you want to dim the lights, Ellie?
Get off the time.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that.
سأقوم من قناعات مايا باور مايا أو لترايتر دوای نامەیە کە بۆ من دێت هەویش نامەی ئەوەی بۆکو پێڵەن تەرد و ڕەوز ئەترە و موچەیەشی کە هەفتانە هەیە ئەوەشە بڕن ئێرە شوێنێکی سەیف نییە بەڕاستی لەبەرەوە شوێنێک نییە متمانەی تەواوی لەسەر بێ هەندێک جار پۆلیس ئەدرەسی تۆ پێزانن و ئامادەن لە هەر لەحزەیەکا بێن دەرگاکەی تۆ بکەنەوە ئەگەر لە ماڵ بی دەست بەسەرت بکەن بتگرن بۆ ئەوەی بدنێرنەوە ئەو کاتێ من بڕێرمدا وڵاتی خۆم بەجێ بێڵم لە دەرەنجامی نەبوونی ئازادی و لە دەرەنجامی ئەوە کێشە و گیر و گرفتەی کە لەوێ هەبوو بەداخەوە بڕێرمدا سەفەر بکەم بۆ ئەوروپا لە ناو وڵاتانی ئەوروپاش وڵاتی بەریتانیام هەڵبژار کە هاتم بۆ ئێرە خەون و مێدێکی زۆرم هەبوو لەوەی کە بتوانم خوێندن تەواو بکەم بتوانم بم بە شتێک بتوانم پێگەیەکم هەبێ لەو پێگەیەوە ئیتر پێگەی دراسی بێ هەر شتێک بتوانم بەرگری لە ژیانی خۆم و بەرگری لە ژیانی خەڵکی تریش بکەم بەرحاڵ زۆر بەداخەوە من نەمزانی تا 10 ساڵی کەشە بێم چاوەڕێی وەرەقەیەک بکەم کە لە هۆم ئۆفیسەوە بێت تا 10 ساڵی کەش منە بێ چاوەڕێی کەری لێ بکەم کە بێ دەرگای و ژوورە بکاتەوە کە 10 ساڵە منی تیادانا 10 ساڵ من نەبێ لە ژوورێکا بم کە هۆم ئۆفیس بۆ هەڵبژاردم و هیچ
understanding of really no engagement with them, almost fundamental level. And you live there without any ability to your loved ones or really to connect to a system that you had hoped at least that endow you with fundamental rights it's something that we really forget about in our day-to-day lives. And I guess kind of open it up to these guys, because since I'm just the mouthpiece of these issues, these guys have actually literally both of them being able to see what you guys took from that. And I guess the kind of question on to have you to ask him about his process and his background, and also ask Haider how, given the fact that he's finally had his asylum granted.
In this piece, you may have realized that I was just following Haider. The only part where I was trying to direct it didn't work out. It became like a funny bit. So the reason I left it there, I didn't want to put it, is just I actually wanted to say and to show how much of it was real, because I could have edited out and cut lots of bits and pieces, but I deliberately left them there to just kind of emphasize the reality side of it.
So I think something that came through really strongly from the documentary, it was something that I kind of thought came through strongly, was I guess a bit like what Oscar was saying, that when you kind of imagine the barriers being put up in these kind of situations, you kind of almost imagine them as like repressive or active institutions or apparatus, when in fact like this film, this documentary kind of shows them as passive, and it is the banality that allows this to happen, that allows yeah. So I was just kind of wondering, was that your intention in this?
I was focusing on chimneys, and some other times I was focusing on time lapse. If you see, in lots of shots, I left my camera there for a good amount of like 15, 20 minutes, and then edited to just kind of show passing time, and also why the chimney is just like, it is the strongest cone in a house. It is where you base. It is everything for that house. It is the strongest part in where you settle. Artistically, I wanted to bring these two elements into a way, but on the other side, we were traveling between this house and the others, and from moving from this house into the other. I think during the filming, Haider moved 3 different places, and all of them were for real. Maybe I have some shaky camera, some sort of problems. I was relying on stills rather than a moving image. But it's just because I didn't want to fictionize it, if you like, and I didn't want to touch it in a way to make it something that it's not true. Everything you see is just what happened during this period of time. I'm not quite sure for how long we filmed it, but I think it's a good 2.5, 3 months, where I was knocking his door every time, and sometimes he was happy, some other time he wasn't in the mood. It's just because the way basically you are, if you live in that mess, basically you wouldn't be happy, but he was so keen and to take part and help to show his story.
You can't deny it.
No, I can't deny. And sometimes he wasn't very happy. He was sending me back home and saying, "Oh, sorry, today we're not going to film." I couldn't do anything about that, but most of the time we were good friends.
I guess, I don't know if anyone else picked up, it came up in the talk a bit earlier, but the scene when you're on the post office and someone shouts wanker, what do you think of the British public thing is? This is something that...
Is that a question for me?
I guess it's for both of you, really. I mean, you both...
would you like to answer?
I still have the same opinion. I mean, people are different, and I choose to come to this country because basically I thought it's better than my country. That's fact. And people are still the same for me. I can cope with some people, I can deal with them, I can like them. They can be my very close friend and very close neighbors. But some other people, they just don't want to live like a normal human being. And it's not only me. You can't deal with them. You can't cope with them. Even with the people in my community, like Kurdish community, I don't like some of them. Maybe I have reason to dislike some of them. Maybe it's from my side. They don't like me. They don't want to. This is how it is. But I always logically separate the people from politicians. I know somehow we all are part of a whole system because the way we are quiet, what's happening, we don't go on the street, we don't stop war and fightings, keep going around. But yeah, I still, realistically, I know it's not your fault when George Bush and Cameron and Blair goes to war with Iraq and Afghanistan, and I know what's consequences of these fights and problems. Sometimes you leave your country because it's not a safe place, and people here, especially Home Office, knows that your country is not a safe place, so you have to make a decision. And then when they just want to make the things better, they just go and attack Saddam Hussein, and they just get rid of him on power. They think that will solve all the problems, but Saddam's culture is still there. When they attacked Saddam and Saddam was gone, they used to
keep sending refusal letters because Saddam's not there, you can go back. My problem is not Saddam, my problem is the culture and the religion domination. But here, basically, people are open-minded more. We could understand each other through the years. I've been living here for 14 years, more than 14 years. A few times, like you saw in the video, people are shouting and swearing at you. I believe you have been through in the same situation like me. People are still swear at you sometimes. I'm a bit luckier than the other Kurdish people. I look a bit whiter, which doesn't make me proud.
Do you know the bomb operator on this film? He's one of the close friends to me. He is white, and he is gay. He is also suffering a lot from the community where people shouting at him differently and all of that. As Haider was saying, for me, I cannot look at the British community because there are a few people are bad and not behaving themselves or not respecting the other minor community. I don't see this as a point because I know for a fact that there are many British people who are suffering from the same problems. I've been here for 13 years actually, a couple of years after Haider's. But I came from Germany, as I was explaining to you earlier. When I came here, I was just ready. I never had any problems. But for this period of time, I managed to have more English friends and white British friends than Kurdish friends. I still got lots of Kurdish friends, but that does not separate me from this community for anything. Any production that my latest production is also a fiction 20 minutes. We've just finished it a couple of months ago. I had 13 young lads like Chris is working voluntarily with me. They all kind of a second year, third year, or recent graduate student from TV and film design. I don't see any problems when they come and work with me. They see me one of them, so at the same time I have to kind of share this with them, vice versa. So I don't think this is an issue for me because I'm sure that some of them is having the same problems with a number of people here.
What do you think British people can do to alleviate some of the social problems that asylum seekers face in the UK and also problems of getting asylum? Kind of what do you suggest? Is there anything we can do?
I believe you are already doing a very great job. As I said, I mentioned earlier, without you, I couldn't be here. Yeah, I can see your help every single moment. Even in detention center in London, we used to deport many Kurdish people back home, but you stopped that operation. But I think always we could do more. We could be a little bit more active, and at least you could stop a humiliation that we go through all the time. I mean, 14 years here, I never allowed to work. I never allowed to get married. I never allowed to have my own flat to live normally, peacefully, like anybody else. The worst thing that I couldn't go and educate myself a little bit more. All this, and I had to go to police station and report every week. So I used to do whatever they want me to do, but whatever they ask for as my right, they never allow me to have it. So you could see this is clearly humiliation. And I don't blame many of you because you can't just understand it, and you can't make yourself busy just running after my life, see what's happening to me. I wouldn't do that. There are some Bangladeshi people in my country, they get humiliated now, today. My brother doesn't know about it. my own brother doesn't know about it. Even my brother is wishing to deport all the Arab people who lives in my region, in my area, to go them back to war zone. I advise my brothers, my sisters all the time, my cousins, to just live peacefully side by side with them. Don't humiliate them, don't swear at them. But not everybody understands this. For you people, I mean, as I said, without you, without your help, we couldn't be here at all.
I think what Haider's meant is these charity and organization like Leaders No War shall reach out and all sort of things, and Amnesty International, they're all out there to help. And as asylum seekers get lots of support from these organizations, and this is enough. This is good. They are actually doing supporting us and talking on our behalf, and submitting our cases into the Home Office, and there are many great people who are not happy as well as us. I think this is what Haider was trying to get into the point, which I agree. There is such a huge organization here all around the UK to support refugee and asylum seekers. In Hull we have church, Methodist Church is always there to give help, support, food, accommodation most of the time, where I honestly, I don't want to just say that, but I cannot see that support in our mosques. Which is great, I know lots of Kurdish people who go to church because they get support. They don't go to mosque because they don't get any support. In fact, the only things when they get from the mosque is don't do that, it's not allowed, it's prohibited, it's this. There is lots of opportunities, but people are still waiting like Haider. He has been granted, but unfortunately, there are many people who are in the same situation.
The story is not always sad, though. There's some funny side of it. Sometimes we used to go to pub and asking us for national insurance number to let us go through, because they didn't want us to go through. We were a troublemaker anyway, some of us. We used to fight because we were angry and frustrated and not understanding each other. Sometimes English people normally just swear when they talk. They don't mean it, but we couldn't accept that. And then we came to the point that they didn't want us to go through to the pubs and things, so they started a new system asking for national insurance number. They knew we don't have it. So we never had a chance to go.
2 years after producing this film, a friend of mine, he's a very well educated and living in Germany. He told me something that I never pay any attention into this film, and I never actually talked about this point until now. If you realize that because Haider in this situation of 9 years waiting, if you could realize that Haider was doing this movement all the way through, and I don't know whether any of you paid that attention. It wasn't cold, it wasn't freezing, but it's just because if I tell you to wait and don't move, you're actually going to move. It's just because, it's just like a caged animal, if you like. It's just like a caged monkey. Because they know that they're not allowed this barrier, they do this kind of a movement. And they've told me, was it cold there? Because this guy, Haider, he is doing that outside, inside. Whenever you film him, he is doing the same movement. I did a little bit of a research and realized that if you actually wait for something and you're not allowed to have something, you can't do this kind of a movement automatically. This is just out of order. You cannot control it. This is one of the effects. Psychologically, it will ruin your life. My advice is that I don't agree that I do support the freedom of movement, but literally every country has got different set of rules, and it is not like you can just open the border and people could come. as I said, it affects people mentally, physically. I think Home Office should just look at the cases and see based on why he is here. And at least for me, Haider should have got a grant like many years ago. 14 years is literally, it is too much.
Even though it's natural for human being when you get older, you can't, the power, your energy will produce. But I still can reach the point where I wanted to reach many years ago. It's clear that I lost about 10, 15, 14 years of the period of my time where I was full of energy and just full of hope, and I wanted to have big steps in my life, but it's gone anyway. I'm not going to give up. I wouldn't give up. But if you think that for the reason I granted asylum here in this country, I am happier than before now. Because the world is still exactly the same. Individually for me, yes, but I'm not as selfish as I could just think about myself. Even for me, the world gets even worse, and I never get it. Never. I can see what's happening in Middle East now between Muslim and others. Kurdish people are dying, Arabs, Iranians are fighting each other. What's happening in Zapata, what's happening with Tamil Tigers. You can't just be happy because of the paper you receive from Home Office. It doesn't make you happy at all. But in fact, your mind is, you open your mind a little bit more, you grow up a little bit more, you understand more, so you get sad even more. You get sad. Doors are a bit open for me. I can operate a little bit more. Hopefully, some more things are in my mind. I can make them.
And he's taking part of my new film, which is fiction. He is the main character.
You're always with me. Leave me alone.
Just because I needed somebody who looks like he's frustrated, and I give him the part. And after the audition, we filmed it, and he got the part. But basically, he was happy on the set. At least I know that. He's just pretending, but it's finished. Any more questions?
Yeah, I guess that's right, Rob. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I hope you enjoyed the film set up in any way. It's just me following this guy, and he is telling me his story. And I think that's the best way to just say, to present the film. Thank you again for watching it.
Yeah, no, yeah, sorry. We had about 40 people attending the place. Yes, I guess it's raining outside Thursday. We'll live for the last day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think the feedback we had is really good. Especially